Welcome to Spotlight on the Arts. I'm Patrick Christiano, your host, the publisher of TheaterLife.com, a website for theater buffs covering Broadway and off-Broadway theater and all things theater. And I have a really cool guest for you today, a film and television star who has been doing artwork, painting, drawing for, I guess, almost his lifetime, it sounds like. We're going to find out from him. It's BooBoo Stewart. Welcome, BooBoo. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on the show. Thank you.
It's really cool. BooBoo is in his Los Angeles studio, and he has an exhibition going on now at the Park West Gallery in Soho that just opened a couple weeks ago, was it?
It did. Yeah, we had our opening days, and it was my first ever solo exhibition. So just being able to see your artwork actually framed and on a wall and all together is beautiful.
It's exciting. I went over to the gallery. The show's going to be up for how long?
Until September.
Did you know the exact address of the gallery in Soho?
I don't know the exact address, but it's the Park West Gallery in Soho. It's right on. It's the Gallery Row.
It's on Broadway, West Broadway or Broadway?
I'm not sure. I'm not from New York, so I don't know.
West? I believe it's Broadway, but if it's not, it's West Broadway, Park West Gallery. And get down to the gallery and see his work. Now, when I came, there was a line of people around the block to get in to see you because of your film work, apparently. Now, you've been in the business since you're a kid, which is amazing. I looked up your resume, a couple of weeks ago after I met you, and you've been doing things forever. But I just want to share with the audience, with people that don't know who you are, I know you can't talk about any of these films or television shows or any of that because of the equity strike. So I'm just going to mention them just so everyone knows how well known you are and how good you are at what you do, because you wouldn't get all these gigs if you didn't show up and do the job and give them what they want.
I practice a lot.
And practice makes perfect, and you've been doing it for a long time now. So, anyway, you were Warpath in X-Men, Day of the Future Past. You were Jay in the Disney TV series Descendants. Luca in Good Trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And what is this? Willie and Julie and the Phantoms, is that another movie? Did I say it right?
Yeah, Phantoms, yeah.
Because you're laughing.
No, I wish I could talk about these things,
Yeah,
but I can't say anything about them, it's like because of the SAG strike and everything. Like I love all the work that I've done as an actor, but it's unfortunate, obviously we have to stand strong with the strike.
No, hey, it's for a real good reason. It really is. But I just want everyone to be aware of your extraordinary career, because you were a Disney hip hop group, so you sing too.
A lot of.
You toured with Miley Cyrus. Was that cool or what?
Yeah, she was rad.
She's dope.
Yeah, she's a cool girl. But no, I just love creating. Like for me, I grew up with my dad is an actor and a stunt coordinator, so I'd miss school. I'd always go hang out on set with him. And if we weren't doing that, we were traveling around selling my mom's artwork. So my mom, she made like Victorian glassware and things like that. And so it was just an upbringing of a lot of creative energy, and with that being the forefront of schooling, I guess, was literally surrounded by like creative people. And so I've always just done a lot of different types of media, creating, whether it's with movies and TV or photography or drawing, painting, and music. And I don't know, I just try to create as much as I can. And I feel like when I don't do it, like you start losing a sense of self, Yeah,
well, it's true, because you have to. But when did you start actually drawing?
I've drawn my entire life. Like growing up, I would be on set with my dad and they'd be like, "Are you sure you want to bring your child to set?" Because being on a movie set, like it's mainly waiting. You're just like sitting there doing nothing essentially. Right. They'd be like, "Are you sure you want to take your child?" And like, "Yeah, he's fine. Just give him like a pen and a piece of paper." And I would sit there and just draw all day. and then doing these festivals with my mom, I'd always be having clay, like molding clay, because there's other sculptors and things like that. And but taking it seriously, like thinking, oh wow, this is something I actually want to share with the world. I would say about probably around like 5 years ago, maybe a little longer. I discovered it through street art and just like the freedom of it, I think. And that turned into putting that on canvas and then taking canvas and then eventually breaking it down to just having a pen and a piece of paper again, because that's makes me feel like the most like myself, and I can articulate what the feeling is and make it tangible from the mind to the paper best with a pen.
So there's been a process, and you've tried different approaches to what works best for you. In other words, so let's show our viewers some of your work that's at the Park West Gallery now, and then let's talk more about your process a little bit, and how it how it evolved and how it changed, and what you're doing now. And then we have also they've put together a gorgeous catalog book. What is that? Is that just a catalog? Is that what that is?
It's a beautiful catalog. It's crazy.
I mean, because to me it's a book. Okay.
Yeah, no, literally, it's a coffee table book. Like,
it's beautiful, and we'll show him. We'll talk about that at the end. But Jody, could we just have a few of the images, and he'll talk over them in the background from the show. We first we have the gallery. Yes.
I also the person behind the photos who's taking the photos is one of my favorite photographers ever. He's one of my best friends. And I asked if he could come to New York and shoot the event. So all the photos in the book and everything are his photos. He's one of the best. His dance floor murder is what he goes by. He's insane.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Can you see that this is you laying on the floor amongst all?
Oh, sorry. The image didn't pop up on my screen.
I know. I realize that they've been showing them a little bit while we were talking.
Oh, sorry everybody for watching.
It's okay. This is all good. It's all
good.
It's
the one of me laying on the floor.
Was that exhaustion? Now, did you actually hang it, or did they hang it?
So the gallery, Park West Galleries, has been like God, they've been so incredibly generous and amazing. They hung everything, framed it. But for me, it was just like being able to just like lay on the ground surrounded by all of your art. It was just oh my God. The whole experience was the greatest thing, but so exhausting. And I was so nervous and stressed.
Well, it's so much energy caressing through your body is why it's exhausting. That's what makes it exhausting. You're having to use you're using everything you have to make something like this come to fruition.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's cool. It was a wonderful show. Now, there's the sculptures of yours too. I didn't there, and you have some in the back of you. Can we talk about those afterwards too? What are they made of?
Totally. So my sculptures, they are made with I would say found materials, with that, and also plaster and metal wiring. So I take these metal bars and I bend them into shape, and then I fix it with different adhesives and different found objects and wiring, and then I plaster them. And what's crazy about it too is those sculptures, and even this one I'm making here, I wasn't trying to make them look like my drawings.
You actually have one right in back of you that you're working on. Let's turn around, since you're in the studio, let's use it, right? Yeah, we lost your sound.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Sweet. Yeah. Technology. Incredible. Okay, so this sculpture here behind me is a man kneeling on the floor. And what's crazy about this is, I mean, it's incomplete right now, but it's a triple candle holder, like for long, skinny, like those tall candles. And so it's actually like a candelabra. A candle will actually go in his hand there, in his hand there, and in his head.
Is this an indoor piece or an outdoor piece?
It's indoor. I'm really into old candelabras, and I love like the Gothic elements of them. I've actually made several different ones.
So what turns you on to candelabras? What is it about them that affects pulls you to them?
I think it's interesting that an art piece can not only visually set a tone, but also I feel like there's something warm and inviting about a candelabra, but also something gothic and haunting about it too. And
Okay.
I like that combination. And I love like some of my pieces, like I have this one I made a head and the candelabra's in the center of the head, or the candle is in the center of the head. And as the wax melts, it actually builds on the sculpture. So it's something that you can use, but it's something that even by itself is I don't know, sets a tone. I don't know.
I get it. It makes sense. There's a juxtaposition that comes together between them about the serenity and the eeriness of it too. There's
Yeah, and there's something comforting. Like I love having candles in my house. You know, I love the smell of candles. I love just the warmth of them. And I feel like there's just comfort in, yeah, it makes a piece that might feel a little, I don't want to like haunting, just feels a little warm, and it lets you know that that feeling is actually okay. Like,
now what you did a video on your setup to come into work. You when you come into your studio, how often do you get to go work if you're not on a film or a television shoot or something like that? Do you spend most of your time in the studio? What how does it?
oh yeah, my schedule's pretty free flowing. I rarely do the same thing like every day. So I'm constantly in and out of the studio because I've moved my studio into my house.
Okay.
I have the freedom to do that. I really, really, I used to have a studio like 20 minutes away in downtown Los Angeles, like with the view and with the windows and, you know, the classic art studio. But I just wasn't finding my, like the time it took to get there. And then like, I don't know, I like being in my space. I like having all my stuff around me. I like feeling inspired by all of my things. And I like just to be able to come home like, oh, I'm gonna do this later today, so I'll just stay home and be in my studio and work. Or like being able to, I get home late, and if I just feel like staying up really, really late, I'll just go in my studio and like work the night through. I like having that freedom of and it just being so close to you.
So you started your father being a stunt man. Well, he was really cool. I got to meet him too. There was a real energy about him that was so grounded that I really liked a lot. And you just tell he makes things happen. Did did
It's,
did 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 he influence you to be in the business, or what was it that drew you to it?
of
Was it
course.
being on a
Yeah,
set?
yeah, definitely. Being on sets with him, I my favorite thing to do growing up was literally just to go to set and to hang out with the whole stunt team, hang out with the camera guys. I loved being in the makeup department. I loved that, like the special effects makeup department. I used to always ask if I could take home like pieces of like a fake scar, or like, can I have those teeth, or like, oh, can I have that head? You know, that's literally my favorite thing ever. I just, I don't know. I guess I didn't realize it during that time because I was just living it and I was just doing it. But the community of a film set's really, when it's great, it's really, really, really great. You have a like a circus of humans that never would normally hang out in real life, all joining together to make one piece of art. And
With a
I don't
common
know.
purpose, and they're forced to live together and deal with everything, and they all
Yeah,
have that common purpose, so they're really focused on making this beautiful
yeah,
thing happen.
exactly. And it's beautiful and it's so creative and fun. And when it's fun, it's really fun.
And so basically, the movie set is like your playground. It's been like a playpen to you watching it, and it inspires you to try all different kinds of things, it sounds like. Am I correct?
100%. Yeah, you get
Yeah.
a little of everything from that. You learn what it's like to photograph something, what it's like to capture movement, on what it's like for, composition, lighting, makeup, the painting that you do on someone's face, like the set decorating, like what colors mean and how they can make a tone, how they set a tone, and how you can communicate with someone to get an emotion. Like it's literally every piece of art in one thing. Like it's great.
But what I was getting at is that growing up in that environment as you did, and as you were privileged enough to get to do, which is cool, that it almost stimulated your creativity because you're in this artistic environment to play in. So you're
Yeah,
playing with an artistic environment, so it just makes it part of your DNA that is I hear it, and it so shows in everything that you do.
thank you.
Now we've talked about this crazy catalog that is not crazy. I mean, crazy wonderful that they put together for you. We have a couple of images from the catalog, and I'd like you to talk about them. So can we have the first one, Jody? Hello? Okay. What does this one mean? Can you talk about it?
I can't see the image. Which is it
Yeah.
brittle? Is it that
It's the one about it's the
brittle?
one with the vulnerability, the one that makes you
Yeah.
feel vulnerable and about the
Yeah, it's the this one is called brittle. It's the one with the arms out. Yeah, for me it's like it's crazy how each piece is such a like a pocket of a feeling, you know. And yeah, this piece is definitely all about how vulnerable we are as people and how easy something could just break at any moment. But if you don't actually strive to like put yourself out there, then you'll never get past it, I guess, you know. And for me, so much of art is being vulnerable. It's being able to express yourself um, because you can't in another way. And yeah, the vulnerability of this piece itself, and just how you can the line work in this one specifically is so delicate that you can feel the sense that it could snap at any point.
and you know what I as you're talking about that, I think most people aren't even don't people don't think about that like you do.
Mm.
People don't think about how vulnerable we are and what could happen at any moment. They kind of just move through without taking the time to look at it like you do.
Yeah, and I think
And
that's sorry.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
I think that's why, like for me, like the whole show, it's I didn't even realize this. Uh, I mean, obviously, before I named the show, I realized it, but while I was making the majority of the art pieces, I didn't realize that they're all pockets of feelings that we don't really talk about that much, and they are really difficult to talk about. Actually, at my show, there were several encounters where people were crying just because they were realizing they had these feelings too and didn't know that other people felt like that, and they just were never able to vocalize it and talk about it with anybody else. But to see it, like your mind as humans, we just recognize the feeling, um, and we don't even know what the word is, but you can, you feel it in your gut and your heart. And so that's why I'm so happy that I don't know, like it connected with so many people. And this piece, and actually this piece specifically, connected with a lot of people. Yeah, like you're saying, people don't take the time to really realize how vulnerable and how delicate we are as humans, how delicate the mind is, how delicate our bodies are, how fragile like life is, just to be able to wake up every day and do it. Um, and how delicate it is to like, even when you're talking with somebody, if giving good or bad advice, how that affects their day, their life, their children's lives, because now it's passed down. Like it's so delicate.
It's
Everything.
an energy that you're putting off. It's an energy, actually. Yes,
Yeah.
I agree. Well, so we have another image from the book that's one of your favorites. So you don't have to see this one; you'll know which one it is.
No, which one is it? I get so
Your
many.
favorite, one of your favorites. It's called one of my favorites.
Oh God, is it Deliverance?
Do you know what it is, Jody?
Is it Deliverance? It's the one with the hands like this. Yeah, that is one of my favorites. um, yeah, Deliverance. This piece is, oh God. So like when I was making this piece, it was one of those moments where this is why I like having a studio at my house. I got home from working all day long, like a long work day, and I didn't want to go to sleep, and I was sitting at home, and then I was like, I'm gonna draw something. I feel like I need to draw right now, and I took a pad of paper and my favorite pens that I always use, and I just started sketching this feeling out. and it ended up being Deliverance, and I stayed up literally like half the night just after a full day of work and having to get up at like 7 a.m. the next day to work. I literally got a couple hours of sleep, and I was just doing this drawing, and then I took the drawing with me to work, and in between every take, I would go back and start and draw more on it, and by the end of that workday, I'd finished it. And there's something I don't know what I was like channeling from that full like day of art, but it became Deliverance, and that piece. I saw so many new techniques that I learned, and um, I don't know. Deliverance is, just you're asking for something, you're asking for something more, some freedom, it's for me, it's just like I was somehow like connected with something that I don't even know what it was, and I feel like I was just drawing that connection.
Did you seriously? You don't know what you were asking for? Did you?
No.
Have you thought about it?
Uh no, because I feel like maybe it was just the purpose was to draw the feeling of what that connection feels like.
Okay.
And that's to me like what it was. It's yeah, that encapsulates the feeling of like when you're like, I don't know, you're being like taken out of your body essentially. But maybe you have to beg for it, it's a weird combination.
I have I'm going to take it obtuse question in a different direction. What do you do to relax?
um I mean, drawing is very relaxing to
I
me.
had a feeling that was going to be the answer because I find that drawing is one of the most relaxing things I ever. I don't draw, but anytime I've ever drawn, it takes you to a different direct side of your brain. Is that right?
Yeah, my favorite thing to do is one of my favorite feelings ever is when you're drawing and you slip into that zone, and you're just like in a zone where time and everything kind of, you just aren't thinking about it. You're just kind of like in this, it's you and the paper and the pen, and it's so therapeutic, and it's almost like a meditation in a sense. Like it makes you feel good. Makes me feel good. So drawing for me is definitely what relaxes me. Even if I'm like on a plane and there's turbulence, like if I'm drawing, I can like work through. I'm like not as scared. Like
Yeah, I had a feeling it might be. Do you remember the first time you picked up the pen and paper and started drawing?
Oh God, literally a child. Like as a child, I would get in trouble in school all the time for drawing all over my homework. I would, it was always with pens too. I never liked colors.
Well, because it wasn't permanent.
Yeah, yeah. I always liked it. Oh, sorry, 2 minutes.
Good. So, but that's cool.
Yeah.
Now you've evolved that you only do pen and paper, is that right? And did I hear correctly? So you only
Totally. Yeah, my medium right now, like, and this is just for the time being. I feel like for me, it's just that's how the best way I can express the feelings of how I want it to, how it feels is with the pen.
right.
It's the tool that I can manipulate the. It's like the straightest line from here to the paper is the pen.
From your brain to the paper.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever, I don't know what it is, the emotion of what is it? It's just the spirit that you're getting to what's the process? That's another show.
Yeah.
To come back, okay?
Oh, it's good.
And talk about the art process.
Please.
So one more time, your show is at the Park West Gallery in Soho. If you don't know where it is, Google it and find it. It's up until well into September, right?
Yeah, September. So you have this whole month to go and check out the pieces, and just I think just surrounding yourself with all the pieces, like they're prompts for emotions. And I think when you go to the show, read the title and then stand in front of the piece and just let it give you what you're asking for essentially. Like, and I think it happens. It's an interesting process, like reading the title and then standing in front of it and just looking at it and just having this dialogue with it, and it'll happen.
Cool, thank you. I think we forgot to show the images of you with all your fans in front of you, but they were really cool images because the people were so excited to see you, and it was I think, did we show them? I don't remember showing those, did we? Oh, cool. There they are.
It was a beautiful night, and thank you massively to everyone and to you for coming out. It was
Oh, it's
incredible.
it was a pleasure to get to know you. I hope we can do it again and Zoom some more.
That's it.
Be well. Thank you.
Thank you.